We're another great story. And from the US to Sudan, we moved to North Korea. And it's really my pleasure to introduce you to Kim, who's a fighter for freedom and for democracy. He defected North Korea when he was a university student. And since then, he's really been working to shed a light on the reality of life in North Korea. It's my uttermost pleasure to introduce you to my friend Kimgeumhyok.
Imagine living in a world with no internet. A world where the government controls all the television shows you watch and all the newspaper articles you read. Where watching Hollywood movies could cost you your life. I can point you to that world very easily. It's everyday life in my country, North Korea. I was born into an elite family and had opportunities that most other young North Koreans couldn't dream of. I went to a good high school and good university. But there was one thing denied even to me. There was regular access for foreign medias. I soon lost interest in the state propaganda of North Korean TV. I found a way to obtain strictly forbidden overseas media that was viewed at the risk of death. What I loved most were movies and dramas from neighboring South Korea. I watched them all day in my room, under a blanket, worrying the sounds would be heard. The laptop screen was a window that connected me to the world I had never seen before. I envied the characters in the dramas whose lives were so different to my own. But then, the police were tipped off that I had given my friends some South Korean movies as a birthday gift. At the age of 15, I found myself under interrogation. The secret police took me a small dark cell where they beat me and demanded to know where I got this video from and how many more I had seen. The questioning went on for days. I wasn't allowed to sleep or to eat. When I wouldn't talk, they beat me and sprayed me with water. I was finally released when my father bribed the police with a lot of money. I was warned never to watch foreign media again and narrowly avoided expulsion from school and being sent to jail. If I wasn't from elite class, what would have happened to me? I returned to my education and a few years later was permitted to go to Beijing to study. It was there I finally gained access to the internet and learned the reality of life in North Korea. Almost everything I had been taught when I was in there was all a lie. When I watched the documentary about North Korea's political prison camps, I broke down and cried. The place I called home, and the only system I had ever known before, was all a lie. I knew nothing about my country. I began devouring books about democracy and freedom and human rights. I couldn't unlearn what I now knew, and I decided I couldn't go back to North Korea. One morning, I received a call from the North Korean embassy in Beijing. They asked me to come in because they said something was wrong with my visa. I was convinced that they finally knew what I had been thinking and reading about. I agreed to come in and hung up. That day, I destroyed my phone and ID cards and left my dorm room with some cash. A few weeks later, I finally found a South Korean pastor, and he helped me to find a way to get safety to South Korea. I defected, and I reached freedom. But I had no idea what happened to my family. The North Korean regime will harass my family to try and silence me. Mom and Dad, I'm so sorry, but I cannot stop. I must speak out for the people at home who had no freedom. That's why I am here in this microphone. Those of us who speak out now are the only hope for the North Korean people and the greatest threat to its regime. And all of you hearing my story today are the witness and the activists who can finally bring freedom to North Korea. North Korea is not Kim Jong-un. North Korea is not nuclear. North Korea is people as like as us. Thank you.
You gave me goosebumps.
Thank you.